You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Miami, Oklahoma has received a grant from FEMA. Samantha Walker shares how the city plans to use those funds.
Also, we'll have details on how one organization is helping young area families by supplying diapers for those in need.
And we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and we'll continue to see more of those and dangerous heat on top of all of that. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. Of course, we're live here on Fox 14, streaming anytime, anywhere on the KOAM Plus app. So always convenient that you can have us anytime, anywhere. And if you missed the morning show or you want to go back and watch your favorite part again, you can do that.
Absolutely.
It's
pretty
convenient.
nifty. Yes, absolutely.
We try and be as convenient as possible. And something very helpful coming to the Miami area, especially helping with all this flooding they deal with.
Certainly. Prospect of addressing flood issues throughout Miami makes residents hopeful.
KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with residents about how the flooding has impacted their lives for decades.
My grandmother is one of those that has lived in a house that's flooded multiple times, and I actually currently live in a house that's on the 500-year floodplain right off of this road.
For Miami residents like Caitlin Baker, flooding is something she not only expects, but she fears every time it rains.
I'm always worried about getting stuck in my house because of the flooding. I never know what's going to happen. Same with my grandmother. Whenever her house floods or even whenever it rains a lot, I mean literally PTSD. It is so overwhelming because you just don't know how much it's going to flood this time, right?
The flooding issues span across Miami, with streets and even homes and businesses known to frequently fill with water.
Every time it floods in our area, we become an island because these roads go underwater. And it's a state agency that's flooding us, and they kind of hold us hostage.
The city is engaged in a lengthy battle with the Grand River Dam Authority, who Mayor Bless Parker says is responsible for many of Miami's flooding issues. A logjam in April that caused flooding sparked more outcries about the impact on the city. Officials hope that the grant for road improvements in flood-prone areas is a step in the right direction.
This is us kind of breaking free of those shackles with this grant, allowing us to open up our roads and make things be able to flow around our community.
Now this is the bridge on Veterans Boulevard in Miami. It's one of the key places to flood, and it's being addressed in the grant. Now Miami city officials say when roadways like this do flood, it makes it difficult for the city to function.
I mean, getting stuck to where I can't go from one side of town to the other unless I go way outside of my normal. And I mean, that costs me no more gas. You're using your car more, and with how everything is right now, I mean, that's really hard on someone's paycheck.
A lot of people say, hey, you're the town that floods. I can't bring my business there because I won't be able to get traffic through town when it floods. So this will be that stopgap that won't hold us prisoner anymore.
For residents like Baker, she's excited for what the future might hold.
It literally changes people's lives, and so I'm hoping this will change for the better, and that we can trust in our leadership in Miami that they're going to take care of us and they're going to push for us.
Reporting in Miami, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
City officials say they are continuing to look for ways to address flooding issues as they continue their legal battle with the GRDA.
I was just talking to you about covering the floods back in my early days in news in 2007 and just how bad the 07 flood was down there. So Miami residents have really dealt with a lot of extreme flooding, and honestly, they're a much stronger community because of it, but they've got to do something to help stop this or at least ease it a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we've got more rain on the way. Thankfully, we're not looking at any significant flooding concerns, but on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see that we do have some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. So we have that one complex that's really just kind of almost hit a brick wall in our far western counties. Not moving a lot, but still a fair amount of lightning up into parts of Greenwood County out there. Then, as we head a little further to the east, we've had these storms all develop within the last half hour or so, and quite a bit of lightning with this storm around Fort Scott, and we're seeing more lightning now with these other thunderstorms and showers showers as they continue to develop across the area. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but we do have that possibility of some strong to low-grade severe storms as we go through the day. So we'll keep an eye on all of this activity, but just look at how quickly that flares up, especially this stretch from Pittsburgh back into southwestern Missouri. Just so rapid on this development. And so we'll continue to monitor that. On top of the severe threat today, we have heat advisories for a good portion of the area. They all run through 8 o'clock this evening, and you could see heat index values up to 110 degrees. Maybe not reaching that point exactly, but getting pretty darn close. So another day of dangerous heat on top of all the shower and thunderstorm chances. Thunderstorms will be like they are right now this morning, isolated to widely scattered as we head through the morning and into the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those could be strong, low-grade severe, hail, wind are the primary concerns. There will be a brief pause in activity, and then as we go later and into the overnight hours, we'll see another organized shower and thunderstorm complex roll through overnight tonight. Temperatures this morning, a couple of upper 70s. The rest of us, for the most part, into the low 80s out there. And we're looking at highs on the average about the mid to upper 90s with these isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. And again, they'll begin to increase in coverage as we go later into the evening hours. We'll break down the details on these storm chances and talk about the below average temperatures on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. The city of Miami has decided not to go through with plans to replace 3 miles of historical Ribbon Road. The county advanced the plan aiming to mill and repave the original road, which is part of Route 66. Those arguing against the proposal say it would destroy history.
We passed a resolution to help save the Ribbon Road. It's a huge tourism draw for Miami, and it's very important to our economy, our sales tax revenue, and cities in Oklahoma anyway are sales tax driven. So we need those folks coming to our community. We need them stopping. We need them to spend their dollars here, and the Ribbon Road is one of those ways that they come and they stop.
The council also voted to establish a Main Street board with the goal of expanding access to property and events downtown. Happy Bottoms Diaper Charity helps Southwest Missouri families who struggle to afford diapers. As demand increases, the charity says they can't help others without donations from the community. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
It takes the whole village to help the people.
1 in every 2 families have difficulty affording diapers for their children. To help, Happy Bottoms Charity in Carthage provides a monthly supply of 75 diapers to families in need.
They're relieved and they are appreciative. They are surprised at the generosity of the program.
But the organization says demand has gone up and they can't meet the diaper needs of the community without the support of donations from the public. And they say they'll even accept open diaper packages.
Definitely an increase in need. We have seen a 77% increase over last year.
Susan Belder-Angulo, the co-executive development director, says that to combat people who aren't in need but may be looking to take advantage of the generosity of charities, they have a system in place.
Portal system that allows an agency like McCune Brooks Healthcare here in Carthage to see where if a family is receiving diapers from another partner agency of Happy Bottoms, and that we really try to make sure that families only receive 75 diapers a month.
According to Nielsen IQ, diaper prices have increased by 22% since 2018, and government assistance, like WIC, doesn't cover diapers. She says that's why this charity matters so much.
It's always heartbreaking to see a family in need, but I think what gives us hope is that we see the relief on a family's face when we say yes, we can give them diapers.
Angulo says that a lack of access to diapers is not only an economic issue, but a health issue, as not having them can cause dermatitis and other skin issues for children. Reporting in Carthage, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Angulo, the co-director, is currently advocating to get a sales tax on diapers reduced or eliminated. To donate to Happy Bottoms, you can find more information on our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. And those are our top stories this half hour. Coming up next, Charlene joins us in the studio with a chili crisp recipe you have to try. And later, Hurricane Beryl reminded us of how reliant we are on our power grid. We'll share how you can stay safe during the summer heat when the power goes out. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Bourbon County Fairgrounds.
The Kansas Soybean Commission joining us once again with another incredible, very colorful looking summertime recipe. And real quick, I want to mention this is actually in a book that folks can get.
That's right. We've talked about it several times. So if they haven't ordered it from us yet, it is free. And my goodness, it's a 4-color book. It's lots of pages, I think 30 some pages, and lots of information, recipes on soy foods and why they're nutritious and reasons why you should have it. This is called the Chili Crisp Tofu Bowl.
Okay.
So it would be a light lunch or dinner to have this summer, and uses tofu. If you haven't tried tofu, this is a really great recipe to try with it. So what I did ahead of time, this is the tofu. I cut it up into cubes, and then it was coated with soy sauce and that we've added to it, but we put cornstarch in it, and so that it kind of would get crispy. Went into the oven and brown, so about 20 minutes at a 400-degree temperature. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make this sauce that goes with it, Chris.
Okay.
And these have some interesting ingredients. This is a Japanese mayonnaise that we're going to start with.
Okay.
So it has just a little bit of spice to it. And then to that, we're going to add the sriracha. You can hand me that.
Okay.
And then you can pour in the chili crisp sauce that's right there. Right there in front of you.
Okay.
There, that's great. And then we have a little bit of lime juice. Boy, isn't that going to be colorful?
Yeah.
You can see that. Then I'll let you add the lime juice. There we go. And we'll mix that. Can you smell those spices?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, how pretty is that? That's going to be pretty. So now the tofu is what we've already cooked. I'm going to put that in there, and we're going to just stir that and coat that. I think that's going to give that a lot of great flavor.
Okay.
Now, what it says to do here, and is I've already cooked, this is our whole grain rice. Brown rice. So we've put that in our bowl because we're going to build this now. And I'm going to take the tofu, and put it in here. So we have that, and that's nice and coated. We'll do that. And it says you can serve the sauce separate, but it actually coats that really well that I think we probably don't even need to do that. We'll just put that all in there. Okay, then to that we're going to add edamame.
Okay.
And I already cooked this. That comes in the frozen package now, so you can just put that whole package right into the microwave.
Okay.
I think we've talked about that, so it makes it real easy to do. We'll add that there. Okay, and then we have some avocado.
Okay.
That makes a nice addition to it, and I'm just going to add that here on top. You can cube it. Recipe suggests to slice it, but you could do it however you wanted to serve it there.
Okay.
I'll put that there. And then, Chris, you have some green onion. You see that there? You can just sprinkle that over the top of it. We've built quite a bowl there, haven't we? And then we have some sesame seed, and these are toasted, and we'll just add that.
Perfect.
How does that look?
That looks pretty good.
Oh, I think it does too. And now we have a little bit of that sauce left, and we're just going to drizzle that over the top of it.
Okay.
And we have built our chili crisp bowl there. And this recipe will actually serve about 4 people if we divided it out into different bowls.
Okay.
But a great recipe to try this summer. And if you haven't tried tofu, this would be another great opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, even though there's so many ingredients, it's a very simple dish to put together. It may look overwhelming, but it's not.
That's right.
It's still pretty easy. So, of course, Charlene, if they want this recipe or any of the others, where do they need to go?
They should go to to our website at kansassoybeans.org, or you can call our 800 number 877-KS-Soybean, and we'll mail you all the recipes for July.
And they can order that book if they don't already have it.
That's right.
All right, Charlene, thank you so much. And of course, this will all be on our website as well a little later this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:19 on this Tuesday morning. We are starting with a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker as we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Again, nothing strong, nothing severe, but definitely bringing some much-needed rain. So we're going to start with this guy. It was stretching back from Fort Scott to Chanute. It's slowly drifting off to the east into northwestern Vernon County now. Still getting some decent amounts of rain around the Fort Scott area, back toward Uniontown, and got a little redevelopment now taking place just northeast of Chanute and between Humboldt and Ellsmore. So we've got some heavier rain here as well. As we head further south, we had a shower that rolled through the Joplin area. It's kind of eased up a bit. It's dying out. And we've got new thunderstorm development now over by Red Oak and south of Greenfield. And we've got thunderstorms Jasper. You're getting in on the action now. Pittsburgh, especially the southern and eastern sides of the city. Still some heavy rain out there. Lamar, you are in the middle of all of it right now, so still getting some copious amounts of rain there. That includes, of course, I-49 all the way through Barton County. And Nevada, you are still in between thunderstorms, but you've got this activity on its way rolling along Highway 54 out there, and we've got it back towards Stockton. So if you're heading out to the lake or on the lake, just be aware that we've got thunderstorms rolling in there and again into El Dorado Springs. Now, all of this activity here flared up rather quickly this morning. And see how there's nothing there, and then just all of a sudden here come these showers and thunderstorms. Severe weather still staying to our north. A nasty cell heading right into Kansas City along I-70. It's been producing, again, we did a count earlier, around 800 lightning strikes with that particular storm, and producing upwards of 80-mile-an-hour winds as it just races off to the east. And then northeast of Kansas City, another severe thunderstorm out there as well. And we do have that risk for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area, with wind and hail being the primary concern out there for virtually the entire area. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that does include the storms we're seeing this morning. What we're seeing this morning is going to be kind of a trend through the day, isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, but some of those again could be strong, low grade, severe. Then we'll see this kind of this first round, if you will, which will be scattered through the day, begin to exit around 8-9 o'clock tonight, but very quickly behind that we'll see new development take place between 10 and 11, really along and south of 54, and some of these thunderstorms overnight tonight could be strong to low grade, severe as well, and they'll continue into tomorrow morning, especially right along Kansas-Oklahoma border and paralleling I-44 into Missouri. Then we'll see isolated storms Wednesday in the first part of the day, and then as we head later into the afternoon, we'll begin to clear out, and we're going to be below average. But for today, nothing below average, unfortunately. Heat advisories in place through 8 this evening. Could see heat index values upwards of 110 degrees. Now we're getting some sunshine now in Joplin. We had that shower roll through. It's starting to dry out, and it looks like it really didn't even rain on the east side of town. 81 feels like 84. Temperatures around the region, again, quite warm out there as we are into the low 80s, some upper 70s, and with the humidity and dew point, especially with all this rain, heat index values are already well up there. That's why we have those concerns for dangerous heat again. Feels like it's almost 90 in Columbus and Miami. We go through the morning, isolated, widely scattered showers and storms out there, about 90 by 11 o'clock. Highs on the average today, mid to upper 90s out there. Then we'll go below average the next couple of days in the low to mid 80s, and we'll warm back to near average by Sunday and Monday with more storm chances as we head into next week. That is a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Well, frustration is boiling over in the Lone Star State with massive power outages continuing a week after Hurricane Beryl's impact.
Fox News' Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look at the calls for actions as concerns grow over the condition of the nation's power grids, plus ramped up efforts to save lives amid the surging temperatures.
The situation is growing more dire for thousands of Texans baking under the summer sun, with roughly 270,000 homes and businesses still without power a week after Hurricane Beryl made landfall along the Gulf Coast.
CenterPoint has completely dropped the ball.
The prolonged outages are prompting criticism from local leaders demanding answers from utility providers.
I will be prepared to swiftly issue an executive order establishing the guidelines that I think are most important to ensure that there will not be another disaster caused by lack of power.
This, as infrastructure experts say, outages like these serve as a reminder of how reliant we are on the power grid and how vulnerable it can be to the elements.
So the grid is power plants plus the wires plus the transformers all the way down to the buildings or the end user.
But many components of power grids across the country are decades old and need major improvements to withstand storms.
So some of this is putting power lines underground so they're less susceptible to high winds, upgrading people's home energy systems.
Lacking power for air conditioners or fans during bouts of extreme heat can be dangerous. To better respond to victims suffering heat-related illnesses, emergency response teams like the Las Vegas Henderson Fire Department have added polar pods to their arsenal.
With patients exhibiting exertional heat stroke, they're going to be hot. They're going to have internal body temperatures of 105. We want to be able to rapidly cool their body temperature down in a controlled manner. So the polar pods are a means that we can do that for us.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Certainly just a devastating situation down there for them after Beryl. Yes. The flooding, the power outages, and then immediately following that extreme dangerous heat.
Absolutely. I hope it gets sorted soon.
Yeah, hopefully they get that all taken care of down there. Well, coming up, President Biden and former President Trump make a call for unity after Trump's assassination attempt over the weekend. And we've got scattered showers and storms across the area this morning. More on the way. We'll talk about that in the forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. The Missouri Southern Board of Governors held a special meeting to discuss penalties for students who fall behind on payments. The board decided to add a $100 late fee to a student's outstanding balance if payments are behind schedule. Before now, the school withheld transcripts for students with an outstanding balance, but a new federal law changed that.
This is happening specifically because the new federal regulation that we can no longer withhold transcripts for any student who receives Title IV aid. Officials hope this fee encourages students to stay on top of payments. A Neosho, Missouri woman receives state recognition for her volunteer efforts helping those in need. Susan Carlston volunteers with Freeman Neosho Meals on Wheels, her church, and the Neosho Fish Hatchery. Yesterday, the Missouri Community Service Commission recognized Carlston with its Senior Service Award for her efforts.
When I first heard about it, I was just really surprised because I don't feel like I really do any more than anybody else.
Carlston says she was first inspired to help after her mother was injured and was helped by a volunteer following the Joplin tornado. Well, the Parsons Police Department hosted a cool event at the Parsons Public Pool. Kids of all ages turned out for the Popsicles with Police event today, and in addition to getting some cool, tasty treats, kids got to interact with local police officers.
And any time more than now, it's extremely important for a police department to show people that we are here for you and that we're here to work for you. Times are different, and the police now, we're here to show people, that we're not always here just to, pull you over, give you tickets, or arrest you. It's different.
The Labette Center for Mental Health also got in on the fun, and thanks to a generous donation from the center, the first 50 kids swam at the city pool for free. Now here's Chris with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're starting with Skywatch Storm Tracker. It's getting a little busy. Scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Nothing strong or severe. That is staying off to our north. But as we head into parts of southeastern Kansas, we're seeing redevelopment taking place back behind this thunderstorm that was originally from Fort Scott to Chinook, continuing to slide off to the east-northeast. New development taking place. Showers and storms hanging on into Greenwood County. And as we shift a little further to the, not that far south, to the east here into Missouri, Stockton, Greenfield, near Mount Vernon, some showers. Lamar, you're into some thunderstorm activity. Nevada, it's all around you, but hasn't quite made it there yet. Joplin, you had a shower earlier. A light shower showing up now, but looking at our cameras, it's not necessarily reaching the ground. And we'll continue to see scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go through the day. These guys really got going pretty quickly, and we're expecting a few more as we head into the afternoon. Some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some hail and damaging winds is the primary concern. So we'll keep a close eye on that for you. We still still do have heat advisories across a good portion of the area through 8 this evening. And so in these zones, you could see heat index values up to 110 degrees. Maybe not at that point, but getting pretty close. Isolated to widely scattered showers and storms will be the trend as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours. And again, a strong storm or two is definitely possible. And then we'll see better storm chances as we go overnight tonight. Very warm out there this morning already. A few upper 70s, most of us into the low 80s across the area. On the average, we're looking at highs mid-upper 90s across the region as well. And we'll have those isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. And again, they'll start to pick up as we head in the late evening and overnight hours. We'll break down details on these storm chances and the below normal temperatures that are around the corner here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, in the wake of Saturday's assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump, both he and President Joe Biden are calling for unity. The Republican National Convention kicked off yesterday with a very different tone, and President Biden sat down with NBC nightly news anchor Lester Holt. Jen Sullivan looks at the messaging from both presidential candidates in the aftermath of Saturday's shooting.
The two candidates for president couldn't be more different on most issues, but in the wake of Saturday's assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump, their message to the American people the same. Former President Trump telling the Washington Examiner that the Republican National Convention will focus on unity, saying, quote, "This is a chance to bring the whole country, even the world, together."
Unity is the most elusive goal of all.
Florida, 125 delegates.
Trump clinching his party's nomination for president Monday as the Republican National Convention kicks off in Milwaukee. The former president says the tone will be much different following Saturday's shooting at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. A bullet grazing Trump, his face bloodied. One person was killed and 2 people critically hurt.
Let us please take a moment of silence to reflect on the terrible events that took place in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Biden spoke of unity after the shooting in a primetime address on Sunday. Speaking to NBC News on Monday, he even said he called Trump to make sure he was okay.
I told him how concerned I was and wanted to make sure I knew how he was actually doing. He sounded good. He said he was fine, and he thanked me for calling. Violence is never appropriate. Never, 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 never in politics.
It's the second time Biden has done a TV network interview since squaring off in the first presidential debate of the 2024 election season hosted by CNN last month, where the president struggled at times to coherently respond to questions, raising concerns about his age. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A man is on a mission to bring a smile to those around him. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the Bourbon County Fairgrounds. In Consumer Watch this morning, Amazon prepares for record spending in its annual Prime Days. The e-commerce giant expects to rake in $14 billion during its Prime Day event that starts today and goes through Wednesday. Adobe Analytics reports Amazon should make $7.1 billion on day one, up more than 11% from the previous year. The company also projects $6.9 billion on day two, up more than 9% from last year. Well, an anonymous group claims it hacked internal communications at Disney. The group, called Null Bulge, says it targeted the Walt Disney Company's internal Slack channels and leaked the data online. The group says it published various information, including computer codes and details on unreleased projects. A Null Bulge spokesperson says issues with Disney include artists' contracts and its approach to AI. Disney says it's investigating the potential leak. Back to school spending is likely to stay flat or tick down this year. Deloitte says cash-strapped parents will pull back on buying electronics and prioritize value, with shoppers likely spending about $586 per student in kindergarten to 12th grade. Last year, the average was $597. Deloitte says school supplies costs have increased 24.5% over the past 4 years.
AT&T call and text logs were exposed last week following a massive data breach. The company says the hack includes phone numbers of nearly all of its users and affects information between May 1st, 2022 and October 31st, 2022. Experts say the hack is a good reminder to all cell phone users to keep your information safe. Jen Sullivan looks at ways you can protect your personal data.
We use our smartphones for almost everything: phone calls, emails, pictures, music, and even banking. So it's important to ensure our information is safe.
Everybody should be concerned about everything they do that's connected to the internet. You're creating a footprint of who you are.
Colin Walke, a cybersecurity partner at Hollis Stills law firm, says the recent hack of AT&T call and text logs shows how vulnerable all cell phone users are to their data being exposed.
We have gotten far too lax, and I think maybe this hack might have woken people up.
Walke says you should limit the amount of apps on your phone.
Every single app you download, you should seriously consider not downloading, because every one that you download, you're increasing the threat surface, the number of opportunities that an individual has to hack you.
Other tips include: be cautious about what you're texting. Don't have embarrassing or sensitive photos on your phone. Don't store passwords for other accounts on your phone. Make sure the microphone feature is turned off on all apps. And don't allow applications to track your location. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 on this Tuesday morning. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Severe weather up to our north, rolling into the Kansas City metro right now, where they've been dealing with winds 70, 80 miles an hour. Thankfully, nothing like that here on the local level, but we do have some redevelopment that's taken place back toward Ozark, just to the west of Elsmore, east of Chanute, near Hepler as well. Fort Scott, you had a pretty good thunderstorm roll through. That activity now on the north side of the city, but more is on the way. And as we take a look off to the south and east, we've got additional thunderstorms, and these continue into parts of Vernon County. We're in a little further south. We've got thunderstorm activity near Greenfield, Red Oak, north of Mount Vernon. We got this thunderstorm over the Jasper area, more showers and storms rolling in to Lamar, and we've got this decaying shower that's now on the northeast side of Joplin. And then again, back to these storms here in Nevada. You've just been getting the light showers. You've been in between all of this activity, but these storms continuing to lift off to the east northeast. We've got this complex in Elk Greenwood and down into Chautauqua counties. Not really moving much on this one, but we had all of this develop out ahead of this, and it is lifting off to the northeast out there. And then again, there's that nasty storm getting ready to plow into the Kansas City metro area. And we do still have a risk for strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area today, with wind and hail being the primary concern with those stronger storms. And even the ones that we're seeing this morning could become a little bit on the strong side. So we're going to keep a close eye on all of it. As we're seeing this morning, this will be the trend through the day: isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. And again, some strong, low-grade, severe storms will be possible. By 8, this first kind of round, if you will start to exit, and we'll very quickly see new development taking place back behind it after 10 o'clock. And some of these storms overnight and into tomorrow morning could also be strong to low-grade, severe out there. And they'll continue into our Wednesday morning commute, especially in the southern half of our area. And then we'll see isolated showers and storms for the first part of our Wednesday. And as we go later into the day, we'll begin to clear out. We'll have a northeasterly type breeze out there and temperatures below average. Unfortunately, not the case today. Heat advisories continuing across a good portion of the area through 8 this evening. Heat index values could reach up to 110 degrees. We got the cloud cover from those showers and storms to the north of Joplin. 81, starting to see a little more sunshine. Feels like 84. Dew point humidity still both up there. And temperatures across the area, again, quite mild. We got some upper 70s and low 80s across the region. And you factor in the dew point and the humidity. Thanks to this rain, it's also creating a lot of humidity around these storms. And so we've got heat index values already into the mid and it's starting to get into the upper 80s across the area, pushing close to 90 on those feels like temperatures. That's why we still have some of those heat advisories in place. Through the morning, isolated to widely scattered showers and storms out there, and we'll keep a close eye on them for you. About 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. Most of us highs mid-upper 90s, but our far northern counties where it's been raining through the morning, you may be a little little cooler. Not significantly so, but a little bit. That's why not everybody's in those heat advisories. As we head into the evening, scattered showers and storms will continue and increase overnight as we fall back into the 70-degree range. Then below normal temperatures the next few days, low to mid 80s, going back to near normal by Sunday and Monday with more storm chances next week. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
One man has made it his mission to bring a smile to people around the world.
And he happens to do it with a hedge trimmer.
On a dead-end road in the London borough of Islington, Tim Bush is trimming his hedge. Nothing out of the ordinary until you take a step back.
Was this the first one, the original?
This is the original one, yeah. This came about, Philippa, my wife, used to sit in the living room and look out through the window here and demanded that I cut a cat.
She got this train instead. That was more than 15 years ago, soon after he decided to help his neighbor who struggled to trim his hedge across the road. It was Philippa's idea.
So then I gave her the cat that she'd asked for the first time.
Philippa and Tim met when they were teenagers in art college. They were together 47 years before she died of breast cancer.
She died about 7 years ago. Sorry.
It's a beautiful way to honor her, though, because it's her idea.
No, it is her legacy, yeah.
This father of three has since transformed hedges near his home into elephants, fish. There's even a Henry Moore reclining nude. It's in front of Polly Barker's house. She's in the choir with Tim.
I was slightly worried whether the neighbours might be offended because she's quite, full on. But they haven't complained. We're a tourist attraction on Google Maps now.
The hedges aren't just tourist attractions. With each commission, this architect raises money for various environmental causes. At first, he raised money for the organization that looks after his sister.
My younger sister's got Down syndrome, so I raised about 10,000.
This isn't gardening, he says, it's sculpting. His wife Philippa was also an artist, and he says she would have been fascinated by how the hedges have taken off.
Do you think you'll keep going?
Till I fall off my ladder, I think.
He likes the end result, and that it makes people smile.
And yes, his last name really is Bush, and as the artist puts it, it's his destiny.
Certainly impressive, incredible artwork that he's doing with those hedge trimmers out there.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's, growing up in Minnesota, we had someone make huge snow sculptures, so I can imagine it's kind of the same thing, and we always wanted to know what would be next. So pretty cool to see.
Very, very cool indeed. Something else that's a little cool is some rainfall that's happening across the area. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing a number of scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Starting back into southeastern Kansas, again, we've got some showers and storms outside of Freedom, north of Fort Scott, south of Ellsmore, near Ozark, back toward Hepler. And then as we head a little further south and east across parts of Missouri, we've got some heavier showers in Jasper, Lamar. You're getting ready to have another little round of showers and storms. Thunderstorms near Greenfield and Red Oak, north of Mount Vernon. And up toward the north, Sheldon getting in on some thunderstorm activity. Also around the Metz area, just to the north of Nevada. So I-49, parts of that getting some heavy amounts of rain. Stockton has been just kind of socked in with some thunderstorms. And look how quickly all of this just kind of flares up out here. And we've got severe weather off to our north, but we do have that possibility of some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area today, with wind and hail being the primary concern out there. So it's something we'll keep an eye on. And a reminder real quick that we still have heat advisories out there for a good portion of the area through 8 this evening. Could see heat index values once again close to 110 degrees. We'll have one more look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Miami has been approved for a grant from FEMA. The $6.3 million grant will be used for hazard mitigation projects in 5 flood-prone areas. They aim to prevent future road closures due to flooding, and the project is expected to take 3 years to complete from design to finish. Missouri Southern Board of Governors held a special meeting to discuss penalties for students who fall behind on payments. The board decided to add a $100 late fee to a student's outstanding balance if payments are behind schedule. Officials hope this fee encourages students to stay on top of payments.
And we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms out there this morning, continuing through the day. Some of those could become strong to low-grade severe, with wind and hail being the primary concern. Then we have heat advisories on top of all of that, with heat index values approaching 110 degrees in some instances. Highs for most of us mid-upper 90s, but up north where there's a little more rain, might be a little bit cooler than that. Storms continue through the evening and increasing coverage overnight. We'll fall back to about 70. Temperatures dropping below normal the next couple of days. Scattered thunderstorms the first half of of our Wednesday. Low to mid 80s out there. Back to normal by Sunday and Monday. And then we'll see additional thunderstorm chances as we head into next week.
Alrighty. Well, peas were flying last Saturday in the English village of Witcham as the annual 51st World Pea Shooting Championships took place. The championships started in 1971 and competitors come armed with uniquely designed contraptions to fire dried peas through a putty-covered target.
The original championship was staged to raise funds for Witcham Village Hall, according to the Hall's official website. Visitors have come from the United States, Scandinavia, France, Spain, New Zealand, and Holland to compete. Certainly a unique competition.
It's like advanced spitballing.
It really is, honestly, and I'll bet that some of these kids, maybe that's what they did when they were younger.
There you go, living out their dreams.
Who would have thought that was going to pay off in the long run? Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll keep an eye on the storms for you and be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.